Most exciting to me is actually the explosion of the sport and entertainment industry in Africa. I think we're at the very onset, the early stages of what could be of massive impact for Africa. It's in terms of job creation, economic opportunities, and economic growth, where teams can become economic powerhouses for communities within where they reside. Um, Only if most of these teams start to embrace best practices. But I see what I just described with the issue of what's not present currently with in the teams and their relationships with their fans, as opposed to what happens with Barcelona and teams like. I see the same thing in terms of fans actually forcing the industry to grow, because obviously the trends will definitely create the need for these teams to step up their game and actually create the environment for them to have deeper and better relationships with their fans. Obviously, we have the onset of where we just started the NBA Africa, which is currently operating in Africa with the Basketball Africa League. The league is in its third year and growing in leaps and bounds. And currently, the NBA Africa Basketball Africa League is valued at about $1 billion, and that will quadruple. It will grow exponentially in terms of its value and what its footprint will be in the long term. And also, the Confederation of African Football is about to launch a super league in football, soccer, let's just say. So, and once that's launched and they have the right investment for that, and that kicks off, it'll be of huge value as well on the continent. So that will translate massively in many communities where those teams who will be playing in the Africa Super League will reside in. Obviously, the rest of the continent also will have an opportunity. Of course, we see also an opportunity for growth in media and streaming, and also a lot of opportunities, like I said, with that. So the growth potential, and obviously the marriage between sport and entertainment. We see Afrobeats, which is the number one genre globally, entertainment genre right now for the music genre, really growing in leaps and bounds. And it's not even the tip of the iceberg yet, I would say, but it's so huge. And what I would love to see, in the long term, and what I think will happen is that there will be that marriage between sport and entertainment on the continent, and obviously everybody. It will become a norm. And we'll see recently, Burna Boy performed at the UEFA Champions League halftime show, and we saw the embrace of that and what it meant. This is a phenomenon that's been trying to be exported from the US to Europe, and now obviously Africa will have to follow suit, because, like I said, it's best practices. It's not about copying. It's about what's best practices. People just have to understand that you're not trying to copy. You're trying to do what's best for your industry for it to grow. You just have to embrace what's done, and if you can improve on that product, fine. If not, you just follow. You just toe the line. So I think there'll be a marriage between those industries. Musicians will have an opportunity to grow their income stream with this marriage between sports and entertainment. And I see a huge growth. I see a huge impact on the socio-economic and social-cultural life. I see a huge impact on the bottom line for most nations, the annual GDPs. But governments, leaders, political leaders will have to also step in to help the process to grow, like we have in Rwanda, where President Paul Kagame has been able to champion and pioneer, of course, building an indoor arena, which is now the home of the NBA Africa Finals, which is the annual finals for the NBA Africa Basketball Africa League tournament. It takes place in Rwanda every year at the end of May. So we've seen that growing in leaps and bounds. In fact, they just signed a multi-year deal with the Rwanda Rwanda Development Board. And that's only going to enhance their country as a destination for sports tourism and much more behind sports tourism, because sports tourism as well. We see that happening. The African Cup of Nations, which is Africa's premier sports property, is going to grow as well. I see much value being put into it, best practices being applied. We have a new leader with the Confederation of African Football, Dr. Patrice Motsepe, who is a businessman. He comes from the business sector, and he's embraced the opportunity to serve to serve the football community. And so I see massive growth in that as well, because I think he's a businessman. I think he'll use best practices to help to grow that as well. Most Confederation of African Football products have been underperforming in the Champions League. Even the African Cup of Nations still struggling to get a major sponsor, but that will be solved. I'm very strongly convinced about that, and eventually that will grow into what it actually ought to be, and the value will quadruple, and football is only going to grow. But like I say, all involved will also have to embrace learning and developing their know-how on how to be part of this train that's moving forward, that's not stopping, they're not waiting for anyone. Everybody will have to step on and get on board that train of development in the sports space, whether it's football, whether it's rugby. Of course, with rugby, you have a new dynamic leader in the name of Mr. Herbert Mensah, former rugby player himself, very astute businessman, and he is about to transform rugby on the African continent. Like I said, other sporting disciplines are looking at possibilities in Africa. The NFL is trying to come in. As I understand, we're having forays from Major League Baseball as well. Not confirmed on that. I don't know for sure with Major League Baseball, but I know for sure the NFL has had a couple of combines on the continent, and which is, I believe, they're going to increase on that as well. So lots of opportunities. For me, the growth and explosion will also have to include and the opening of offerings, in the sense that more that it's not just about soccer or football, I should say, or track and field, but there are much more out there, much more sports disciplines out there. Africa's population will be 2.5 billion by 2050, and about 2/3 of that will be young people, and so it's the upside is only up. It's only going to go up.
It's quite mind blowing. It's quite mind blowing.
It's mind blowing. It's a huge market and a huge opportunity. It's an emerging market, as you say, and it's a huge opportunity. And so we're looking at the inroads of where these developments are taking place, and we're trying to work with those sectors and see where we can help to grow. And so anyone who's looking at what they will need to focus their investment on coming into the continent, because we've had a number of entities who we've looked at in the past who have tried to invest in the industry, but they've made big mistakes, and they came in with big muscles. Well, I mean, big muscles with big financial muscle.
Yeah,
splurge a lot, but they missed the marks. And so obviously, you have to know the industry. You have to know the environment that you're working in or you're investing in, for you to know how to go about investing and getting a return on investment. Otherwise, it'll blow back in your face.